Hi everyone, welcome to the special edition of a tarot forecast that is dedicated to the full moon in Scorpio. The full moon is speaking today. The power of the moon, though, is going to be working on us and with us for a few days after that. It started a few days before the peak and it's going to continue for a few days. I will dive in right away. Have a couple of beautiful decks here with me. The Healing Waters deck. So we'll pull the three themes of this full moon in Scorpio for the collective to know what this is about, what we're unlocking with this powerful full moon in a water sign, hence the Healing Waters deck. And those who know the Scorpio energy, you know Scorpios go deep. And then I've got the Ukrainian tarot here, coincidentally open on Six of Waters. There are no coincidences. Another beautiful deck, and I'll use it to give messages to each individual zodiac sign for this full moon event. And we will begin with the Scorpio, since this is a full moon in Scorpio, and then we'll go around the zodiacal wheel. These readings are for sun, moon, and rising of your sign. So I recommend, there will be timestamps, and I recommend watching 3 messages for each of those placements. But if you don't have time to watch all 3, then I recommend choosing the message specifically for your moon sign. With all that said, let's get started. Just realized I had a few cards turned away. Okay, so first we're picking 3 themes. By the way, if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like it, and of course if you're new, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other readings. I do twin flame readings, I do monthly horoscopes, I do daily 1-card readings, and of course I do personal readings as well. Okay, so the first theme, the wishing well, unexpected gifts, kindness, karmic jewels. Yeah, so what it tells me is that there is, because the cycles are being complete with this full moon, it's like things are coming full circle. There is a release of the old wounding, old patterns, old stories. As the result, there is this karmic rebalancing, you know, that we like to talk about. Everything in nature, the universal energy tends to neutralize. And there are so many different examples and different levels of that. Essentially, the law of karma is about neutrality, if anything. Which means that if you've suffered through some painful events, you've been through some trauma, now that you're closing that cycle, you get rewarded for it, right? So that becomes full, that becomes a full story now, that it's been repaid now. Whatever you've paid is now being repaid to you in the form of the karmic jewels, in the form of kindness and unexpected gifts. But remember that this last ritual is still important, to acknowledge the wisdom, the lessons, why those experiences were important. The second theme, let it rain, allowing what is, inevitability and trust, surrender, essentially, to the divine will, even if it, for a moment, it seems like the events are unfolding in an unfortunate way, or at least not the way that you wanted them to, right? So it seems like things aren't going your way. It can be frustrating for a moment, or you may feel at a loss just because of uncertainty of whether it's going to work out, when it's going to happen, right? So you're being asked to let go of those worries, those expectations, and just let things happen naturally. Don't rush, don't push, just let it rain. And finally, the third one is the rainbow. Wow, beautiful. Sweet relief, new beginnings, a new way forward, right? And that's what's on the other side of this, ending the cycle of karmic rebalancing, right? It opens the doors. First of all, you're leaving the baggage behind, the burden behind, which means that you've created capacity in your field for the new beginning, for something beautiful, for something that you want to attract and to create, right? And something more importantly that aligns with your vibration and with your frequency. That's, I guess, that universal piece that people who are into manifestation and affirmation sometimes miss. You are attracted into your reality people, places, and situations that are in alignment with your frequency and vibration. May or may not be something that you wished for. Hence, we're working on our frequency and vibration as a priority. All right, with all that said, we'll move to the zodiac sign messages, and we will begin with Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know during this full moon in Scorpio? The messenger of earth, so this is the knight of earth, and the 10 of air, 10 of swords essentially. Wow. Yeah, so there's definitely an opportunity to build something new, something different in your life in a very practical manner, right? You're getting some news on what this new phase is going to be about. What can you hope for, and what you're getting ideas and resources, most importantly, to build something that is going to be in alignment with your new energy. What's important is that you're approaching it with fresh eyes, that you're not looking back at the past failures, at the past fears, what will not work out, or will I have enough resources to build it, figuratively or literally, right? It's like you need to put the doubt aside, even if it is prompted by real life experience. It's not just something you're imagining, it has happened before, right? So you're legit to worry about it. But the universe and the spirit are saying, just put one foot in front of the other. Keep going at it and you will succeed. You don't need to know how things are gonna come about for you, right? It's more about taking steps forward, showing up, and letting the universe know you're serious about those goals, those objectives, those intentions. Sagittarius. 10 of air, you saw me shuffling. And 10 of water, wow. The 10 of air is the main card though, so you're closing some kind of cycle where things didn't work out. Bridges were burned, communication was lost, maybe you lost the person, a relationship was over, and it created certain pain and fear of opening up your heart again. But guess what? Now you're ready, and you've got people around you who care so much about you that you can relax into that energy, can lean into it to feel safe, to be able to, because and sometimes in the spiritual circles we hear like you need to open up your heart and you need to clear your heart chakra, right? Like A, it's easy, and B, it's like just do it. You just have to do it. It creates a lot of pressure, and knowing that from real experience, it's not that simple, especially after you've been hurt big time. You can't just do it like that. Not even after a meditation, a ceremony, or a therapy session. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is like a muscle memory, and it needs to be built consistently, right? And you need to take little steps at least. So it's important to start doing that with people that you feel comfortable with, right? Go deeper, be more authentic you, show up in joy and happiness and lightness. Invite them to do something fun together, something that you want to do, even if you know that they may chuckle at it for a moment, right, before saying yes. This is you showing people who you really are, and you're reconfirming to yourself that it's safe to show up this way. And not only that, but actually that's the only way to truly connect with another human being, and that will prop you with time. Again, not after one time, not after one day, but eventually it will prep you for opening up to a completely new person, or maybe even mending fences with someone that you had a falling out with. Okay, that was Sagittarius. Now Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know during this full moon in Scorpio? Hierophant, and Death. Wow. Taurus and Scorpio, two opposite energies. Hierophant about the status quo, the tradition, the way society is, the way family is, the way religion is, just like customs, traditions, laws, written and oral, but you know, what is conventional. Death is about transformation. It's about throwing away the rules and coming up with something entirely new. This was your main card though, so these are both major arcanas. So Capricorn, you could feel some pressure during this time where it may feel like it was your conscious mind. It may feel more natural to follow the rules that you've known before or the way you were brought up. Just follow that pattern, right? Because that has served you, or that seems right, or that is respected, or that's the way others will accept you, one way or the other. But you're now being challenged into trying something completely different, going against the grain, or going out of the people-pleasing environment and doing something that you know for a fact is going to be unpopular and maybe even will cause someone to walk away, or some contract to be broken, official, unofficial, right? But it's worth it, and you will be presented with life events where you'll have that choice. Do you go with the conventional, with the true and what's it called? Old, true and old, old and true, with what you know and what kind of has worked so far, right? Where you have more stability in this, or you go for something exciting and wonderful and true to yourself, but it's gonna be provocative in a way, right? And some people may not take it well, will not take it well. Interesting. Next, Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know during this full moon in Scorpio? The Emperor, Aries energy, clarified by Three of Air. Three of Air is very magical here, and I told myself, I was talking about it in my previous reading that I did with this deck, which was the first one, so this is only the second reading that I'm doing with this deck, that a lot of the imagery actually doesn't align with the actual meaning of the card itself, like in a classic tarot deck. But I'm gonna go more with the art in this case rather than what we know, for example, Three of Air, which is Three of Swords to be. And here I see hope and enthusiasm. Her playing this flute, the colors here, the sunshine, everything, right? So, but it is also very tender. So what I see here is with this Emperor card, you may feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, the weight of the ancestors and their expectations for you and the heritage you need to create. Like, you know, you are in some kind of a leadership position, or you aspire to be, right? And you're starting to understand that it comes with a lot of responsibility, right? It's starting to weigh on you, or it has been weighing on you. And so what you're asked to do is to take it lightly, to play with this, to step away from those thoughts of burden and responsibility and what will happen if things go wrong, right? How many people are gonna be impacted, all that. And think of what would be a delightful thing to do, or where can I experiment, right? Or how can I involve other people to do this with me? It may feel good to your ego to be that one person who's in charge and others revere to, but in this case, it's more important. The result is more important than all this different politics and power struggles. So this is also a bit of a difference between integrated and disintegrated Emperor energy, right? Where you don't let your ego step in the way of creating happiness and wellness and well-being for people that rely on you or that you are in charge of. All right, Pisces. Messenger of Air, so this is Knight of Air, and the World, Capricorn energy. Yeah, so this is about closure. I mean, in this deck, it's there's this beautiful mosaic, probably in the church somewhere. And I feel like the messenger of air, the main message here from the messenger is that you're reaching some kind of destination that you've been yearning for, that maybe you had on your, map of desires, and something that you had dreams about, right? That seemed like a very distant future, and now it's just around the corner. So the main message for you, you're very close to getting to your goal, to your dream. Just keep going. There are a few more steps. And if you show determination and if you show your commitment to that vision, to that goal, it will definitely come true to you. And again, you don't need to know the details. You just need to keep going at it and have a good attitude. And remind yourself, actually, another message here. Remind yourself why you want this in the first place. Why do you still want it, right? How this dream started and why you still believe in it so strongly. Next, we'll go to Aries. You've got 5 of Fire, clarified by Ace of Fire. Fiery energy for fiery Aries. Yeah, for Aries, all this water energy is a bit debilitating and maybe discouraging in a way, right? But it helps you, and full moon especially, it helps illuminate our fears and what we've been suppressing. And for you, it's a fear of change and fear of not meeting expectations, I'm hearing, right? Like you had something in mind and you told everyone, this is what we're building, or this is what we're doing, or this is how much money we're gonna make with it. And you're in the middle of it, you're in the process, and you understand that there's a lot of novelty to it, right? Like it's some kind of either invention or it's a new business venture, right? Where you don't have like a template you can use. You don't have the stats from previous year or something. It's new. And you're starting to see that you're deviating from the original plan, and it starts crippling to you that it's not gonna look good, right? Or, is this gonna fulfill my ambition? But more than anything, this is about that spark for innovation and what you're passionate about, right? As long as you keep that passion going, you will get a positive result. It may not be what you dreamt about, but you will know in good time why it was necessary. Why it was necessary for this to happen that way, and why you were shown was a different outcome that you had in mind. You'll be able to see it if you don't let your ego get in the way. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, Taurus. What does Taurus need to know during this full moon in Scorpio? Queen of Earth, the main card. This is your energy. Clarified by 9 of Earth. Ooh, I like this. This is building for yourself. This is, Queen of Earth is a quintessential mother figure, wife figure, the hostess, the housemaker, right? But it's like, the assumption is that there are other people around. At the very least, there is a partner, right? The life partner, and maybe children, maybe extended family, and the Queen of Earth is taking care of these people of home. But there is an emphasis with this card here that you're building yourself up at this point, right? And you'll be shown new ways in how you can do it and why it's important to invest in yourself, to create the environment that you will love, that you will feel nurtured in. Direct that love capacity, nurturing capacity at yourself, and even business capacity, right? Because Queen of Earth also knows how to create abundance, right? And how to make good use of those resources available, right? So see how you can make use of those towards yourself. Not necessarily thinking of everyone else and then about yourself as the last point. Do it the other way around this time. See what happens. Gemini. Seven of Air. Clarified by Messenger of Earth. Another Messenger of Earth today. Seven of Air, especially with this art, is talking to me about taking a moment to pause and contemplate. And for Gemini, it actually might be a bit triggering or difficult to do because Gemini lives in the brain, in the, analytics of things, in the details, in planning. But this is now the time to go within and acknowledge how you feel. Not what the reality is around you, but how you feel about it, about what is happening, whatever is in focus for you, whether it's personally or professionally, or maybe even if nothing comes to mind, then go through different aspects of your life and ask those questions. How do I feel about my health and wellness right now? How do I feel about my career right now? How do I feel about my relationship with my family right now? Right? And see what the answers are. Go into the heart space, connect to that. The Scorpionic energy, like I was saying, it goes deep into feelings and emotions, and that's what matters. Not what others would expect you to say, what is a good thing to say, but what is really happening. And that will help you see what you need to do next, because the Messenger verse is a very practical card, right? It's like, okay, so what do you do with this? And that's where you can apply your Gemini skills to come up with a plan, to maybe do your homework, see how you can make it better, right? Whichever area you decide that you'd like to improve, then, just do that homework and start taking steps. Cancer, you have Seven of Water as the main card. Clarified by Queen of Water. Very Cancerian. But the main card is the Seven of Water. So it's like, at this moment, you are being connected to other people that you can learn from on how to do life, how to have fun, how to relax, how to just stay in the moment and stay present. And it will help you, even noticing them, even observing them from the distance, will help you understand how you can bring more of that harmony and coherence into your space, into your reality, right? Not necessarily that there is a problem, and I'm not sensing that for you, but you're seeing more opportunities. How do we express love for each other? How do we take care of ourselves and each other, right? What do we aspire to? What fills up our hearts? Cancer is a very nurturing sign, right? And at this point, it's like nurturing can be done in so many different ways, right? And this is the time to expand your horizons, right? And maybe even ask people if these people represent somebody in your life that you care about. Maybe ask them, how can I show you more love and appreciation, right? What can I do to reflect that? Because I do care about you a lot. Next, we'll go to Leo. Have 3 signs left. Wow, the Star, Aquarius energy, which is the opposite of Leo, and 4 of Air, the flag of Ukraine, for those who don't know. Very interesting, right? To see this for the 4 of Air, which is 4 of Swords. But to me, the flag represents like the home, the motherland. It's like a symbol of like, this is my safe space, this is my territory, this is where I can set things up the way I want to, right? So the main card is the Star, and the Star sends a message that it's important to dream big at this time. It's important to not to see boundaries on what you can do and how you can live and where you want to live and who you want to be with. It's important to just make big strokes and create that vision for yourself, right? And yeah, maybe be a little selfish, but know that that vision, the more you speak from your heart and you approach it from your higher self, the more it's going to contribute to the harmony in your environment, in your home, in your motherland, wherever that space is, the community notion of it, right? So it may seem for a moment that it's a little selfish, that you're disregarding direct wants and needs of other people. But the more you're living your life and you're creating your life the way that, you know, your heart wants to, the more beneficial it's going to be for people around you, right? And will the happiness, the fulfillment will amplify, and it will help those people, you know, do more and be more in this life and have that expansion for themselves, because that harmony, that high vibration and frequency will be transmitted, and they will be able to benefit from it. And don't be afraid that you're suddenly creating rules for other people. You don't have to impose the rules on them, but at least you're supposed to share what is your vision and, you know, expectations and how you see the ground rules working, right? And then you can adjust if necessary, or they don't have to participate. But it's important to voice them out loud. Next, Virgo. What does Virgo need to know for this full moon in Scorpio? Queen of Earth. Wow, I mean, the queens have been amazing in representing the energy of the sign. This is beautiful. And Temperance, Sagittarian energy. Nice. There's a well here as well, I think. But there's sun and there's like that fiery vibe, right? Which makes sense with the Sagittarian energy. So you're asked to step outside of your comfort zone, Virgo, right? It doesn't mean that you are somehow neglecting who you are. It just means that you're allowing yourselves to see other ways of living your life, other ways of looking at people around you, right? Especially if you know that you have judgment of certain traits of character, certain behaviors. See, and you can do that exercise either with like a therapist, a coach, a mentor. You can go online, even speak to AI about it. Why not? Bounce off some ideas of how can you move away from a certain judgments, certain patterns, whether it's based on, I don't know, could be biological characteristics, could be beliefs of people, certain behaviors, like, I don't know, maybe you hate somebody who is running late all the time. Virgo's usually quite punctual, right? It's like, this annoys me so much and I don't want to live with that energy anymore. But this person is in my life and I want them to stay in my life. I know it's their trait, right? So it's not like I can change it right away or just tell them, like I've told them before, they still do it. How can I get out of this energy of frustration and do better, right? And see how you can alchemize that energy and bring more balance, right? And eventually have less judgment. That's the ultimate, spoiler alert, the ultimate cure for this kind of experiences where things are happening. Of course, you're at any point in time, you're free to choose to be part of it and to engage with that kind of energy or not. But at the end of the day, even as and when it happens, you are not getting frustrated and annoyed. You can still keep your peace, and that's the win. Okay, next we're gonna go to Libra. That's the last sign here. What does Libra need to know? 4 fire, beautiful. And usually 4 fire is 4 wands, which is the twin flame card, but here you can see it's very different. Again, for those who are not familiar, this object is like a symbol of power for Ukrainian hetmans. Sort of like kings or rulers in Ukraine back in 17th and 18th century. But that's something that the hetman would be holding in their hand as a symbol of power. And then it's clarified by the Queen of Water. Beautiful. So it's like, it's this beautiful balance, right? And if you feel like sometimes you're supposed to be forceful or you're supposed to set the record straight or speak your mind and you don't know how to do that while still being a kind of a good guy or gal, or, you know, staying kind or staying soft or having people to like, you can do both. But if you're speaking with an open heart, with a connection to your heart, while you're setting the record straight or even telling someone off, or you're sharing what works, what doesn't work for you, the more you are in your heart, the easier the conversation is going to be, or the action even, right? And you'll see that the reaction from other people is going to be way different than if you were just like following the heat of the moment and just shouting whatever comes to your mind, right? That's when the program works, right? The program of your psyche, that is the fight or flight response, that takes action. But if you go into your heart space with this Queen of Water energy, right? If you connect to the heart and you see how you can deliver this message kindly, explaining why it's not okay for you, why it's causing some kind of damage or negative consequences, and how we can benefit from a different behavior, different views, different communication, right? That changes it entirely. Whereas it's still, at the end of the day, it's still this, you're making the same point, but you're doing it in a very different vibration. And that's what matters. And that's what defines, I just spoke about it when we had the Emperor card. Forgot which sign was it, Pisces, I think. Yet the Emperor is the main energy. There is a disintegrated and integrated version of it, right? And the Emperor as a symbol of power, right? It can be a dictator that is, trying to meet their needs with that power that they have at hand. Or it could be a caring leader that that creates opportunities and creates good life for people that they're in charge of and for territory that they're in charge of. It's how you direct that, how you channel that power, what kind of vibration you use when you're doing it. I hope this was good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And until next time.